All right, everybody, welcome to this week's slightly gravelly edition of the Fresh Takes podcast with Russo and Felice, except there's no Felice this week. But we do have a couple Russos in studio and one very special guest co-host in with us as well. So I'm Paul Russo, as you all know. It's not Nick Felice across from me as always. Instead, we got Pat Russo. So Pat, how you doing today? You've been on numerous times before.
I have.
At the very least.
I'm doing good today. It's great to be here. Great to share the studio with another guest.
We do have another guest in. And that, of course, is my boss, good friend. Been on Weber this week how many times?
4 or 5 or 6.
But Jim Spina's in with us this week to help out, provide, and I inadvertently got rid of your thing while I did it up. So I'm really doing fantastic over here. Struggling to sound great, but Jim, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, you get to tell me what to do for at least an hour.
I don't know about that. But
A little bit of a change.
I'll just tee up some things and hopefully have some fun here. And it's a big week for sports. Obviously, we got March Madness, which is probably the big topic we got for the night for sure.
Yep.
Among some other things, late-breaking baseball news today that we had to throw in. And, so we got March Madness. We're going to talk some Stanley Cup playoff run here. Teams clinched already. Certain teams got the President Cup trophy already. Maybe that doesn't bode well, as statistics show.
It's a curse.
Yeah, it's a curse. That's for sure.
Has been.
Yeah. Got obviously discussed Mike Trout. Big news today with him.
I was right.
Then,
400 million.
we got all three of us are Yankee fans in the room today.
Yay.
So we will have an exclusive Yankee outlook into 2019 before next week, where we do a pretty big baseball preview show.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a lot of fun. And, let's get right into it. So March Madness has arrived. Hopefully you guys got some brackets already filled out. I got for sure one filled out. Got the play-in games going on right now. If you didn't watch earlier, Fairleigh Dickinson got their first ever NCAA Tournament victory. Came back from a 13-point deficit to beat Prairie View A&M 82-76. Halftime right now, spoiler alert if you're not watching and care, Temple 31, Belmont 37 in the second play-in game tonight.
A lot of people like Belmont, though.
Yeah.
So
They deserve to be in my opinion. I don't think they should have been a play-in game, but that's a different discussion.
No, that's silly.
But,
they deserve better.
So I don't know where to start. This is a really interesting bracket in my opinion. Yeah, in my view, one side's full of upsets, one side's relatively chalk. Pat, I'll go to you first because, your favorite team got a number 1 seed. You get to sit pretty high and above over there. So what do you see out of, the Midwest region where UNC's number 1, and maybe that side of the bracket in general, where you guys will play where the Midwest will play the South in the Final Four,
right,
where Virginia's the number 1 seed.
Right. So out of the Midwest, I'm not too worried about it. They already lost to Kentucky. Kentucky's got a little bit of size. They hustle. They can shoot. That's been UNC's Achilles heel the past few years, where they haven't had as much size. Going to Luke May as your power forward, who's only 6'8", definitely doesn't help. That being said, Sterling Manley is coming back. You can throw him in there with Garrison Brooks at times if you need to. Run a little bit of a bigger 3 in college with Luke May. That could help them out a little bit. The only team I really see knocking them out before the Final Four would be Kentucky in the Elite Eight. And then out of the South, I think it's a toss-up between Virginia and Tennessee at this point.
I love Tennessee.
They're a fun team to watch.
They are a fun team to watch.
And when it comes down to tournament, you need seniors. They have 2 or 3 seniors. I'm pretty sure their other 2 starters are juniors. So they got that veteran leadership. I really think if they can either contain Kyle Guy or catch Kyle Guy on an off shooting night, they won't just beat Virginia. They will absolutely blow the doors off Virginia.
I just think Virginia is in a position where I can't imagine they waste this opportunity. I just think it's almost there's almost a destiny to this team. I'm not saying championship, but Final Four just seems on the plate. But I love Tennessee. I think they could be fun.
They're going to be a tough team to knock out. And again, they got size. That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough number 2. That's a tough number 2 for Virginia. That's a tough number 2.
Right.
It really is.
Right. I remember my big thing going to the other side with Gonzaga is a lot of people were upset that Gonzaga got a 1 and Michigan State didn't. I kind of agree on the side of Michigan State. I know the Big Ten is a little overrated at times. Most people don't like looking at the Big Ten, but Michigan State did win the regular season Big Ten title and the tournament title. So pretty much what they're saying is they're rewarding what you did in the regular season period and not really looking at the conference tournament. Because when you look at Gonzaga, yeah, they only had 3 ranked opponents. They were 1 and 2 against them, but they still came out with 30 wins and a regular season title. Michigan State did not. They held their 2 losses against Indiana and lost against Illinois against them. But other than that, I think they got it mostly right.
Yeah, 31 wins is tough to ignore.
It is.
It doesn't matter. And I think Michigan State's complaint is where they were placed. Mm-hmm. You know, they're probably they really, in my opinion, are the best number 2 or the hottest number 2 anyways. Mm-hmm. You know, if you look at the whole big picture. And then they stick them in there with Duke. And they were talking today, or yesterday, I can't remember, that talking about placement so they don't have to travel. Well, Michigan's in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like there's not really much you're gonna have to travel for being there.
No. So I don't know, but they're another tough number 2 if you're Duke, man. To sit there and looking at them with that coach, and Izzo's great.
And Cassius Winston, senior point guard. I know he doesn't have the best stats, but he's only got averaging probably 8 or 9 points, only 7 assists, but still 7 assists. Senior point guard. That's usually what gets it done in March. They got the formula. They could do it.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see all 8 top seeds go to the final. The Elite 8. I really wouldn't be sure. It'd be one of those weird years to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure
it won't happen.
I was about to say I don't have that in my bracket.
Yeah, well, very few people do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like if there was any year for the top 8 teams to come out, this would be the year for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I kind of said off the top. I think the South and Midwest side, that's pretty chalk. Like in my Elite 8 over there, Virginia versus Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Now I have UNC, but they're facing Houston, who's the 3 seed. I think Houston has that offense.
Can't sleep on them.
They have a potent offense. Best record actually in school history for them.
But are they tested?
That's a good point.
That's the other thing.
That's a certainly good point.
Yeah. They had game day this year, hosted UCF, and lost to them. Yeah. And now I know UCF has Taco Fall, and then his backup is also 7-4 or something ridiculous like that. But when you came in with all that hype, and then you get game day, and you had the 30-something home game win streak,
it gets people's attention.
Up.
Yeah, right.
But we'll see, because if they put up a tough game with Kentucky and find a way to beat them, I'm not saying I'm going to be nervous for that game. There's really not a team that bothers me when it comes to UNC other than Duke. I mean, we'll see how that all plays out. It just Houston could be a dark horse to maybe run the table here.
Yeah, it might be. See, Duke's susceptible to that bad shooting night. You know, that's the thing that scares me about them. You know,
that's actually the next question I wanted to poise here quick is so like the Elite 8 on that side for me is out of the East, I have VCU an 8 seed versus Louisville a 7 seed, and then out West, Marquette 5 versus Michigan 2. Duke shoots terrible from the 3. They're 339th in the nation.
Yeah. Now,
mind you, I have them losing to VCU in the round of 32, which is huge upset.
But who was also shooting
338th in the nation when it comes to 3-point shooting.
So they've got to be like in the bottom 5. They've got to be.
But what I'm trying to get at here is with this Duke team is they've shown it here, especially without Zion, more or less. You know, they struggle to kind of get an offensive plan going. Right. Also, I think at some point here, and it always happens with these Duke teams that get hyped up, they usually fall flat.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is, I think because with the 2 big guys, Krzyzewski's smart enough to say we're not shooting it. Let's just pop. I mean, let's get them into the paint and let's just get chippies and go to the free throw line. They're not a great free throw shooting team either, though.
No.
So they got to be careful and pick their poison. Mm-hmm. But I would be shocked if Krzyzewski let him sit out there and shoot the 3 and shoot miss. He doesn't adjust it and just get the ball inside and try to dominate with the 2 big guys inside. Right. You know, the number 1 and number 2 picks in the NBA draft. You know, you got to use them one way or another.
I mean, they averaged 42 points a game in the paint this year.
Yeah.
So to change it up, like I understand if RJ Barrett, I think, is their best shooter. So if he gets a shot, he gets a look, he takes it okay. But guys like Jack White, who at one point was on like an 0 for 40 stretch period, he can't shoot. You can only let him take an open three. It was like a second on the shot clock. He's got to chuck one up. Trey Jones has shown that he's very, very just kind of on and off.
Is Trey Jones their best shooter technically?
No, I think RJ Barrett is at the end of the day.
But he doesn't even look to take the jumper, really. I mean,
Right.
he's trying to get inside 10, 15 feet and
Right.
dish or take that little – he likes that little jumper there.
Yeah.
So he doesn't – I don't know. I just don't see – I see Michigan State being better than him. I just do. Come at the end. I could be wrong. But.
Right. And that's why when you said VCU – granted, I didn't watch VCU a whole lot this year. I maybe caught like half of their second half game and their semis or finals for the conference tournament. Didn't look like they had anyone that could stop or even contain Zion. So when it comes down to the end of the day, Duke just pounds it in on them.
Right.
Maybe they could put up a game. I don't know enough about them to say they'll get blown out. They might be able to put up a game, but if Duke has their way in the post like they do with most teams, it's going to be over for them.
Whoever beats them is going to have to shoot the three well.
Right.
Going to have to. And that, you know how that goes in the tournament. You have one bad night, you're done.
Right.
I mean, your next loss is
next off season
is your last one.
So then let's focus locally here before we get into, I guess, upsets.
I wonder if we're going to the Q's with you.
I
Paul.
know.
Well, I figured I'd say the best for last. We actually worked ourselves around the bracket a little bit in a funny way. So Cuse, they got the 8 seed. Figured actually they probably put him in about 10 or so, in all honesty.
Yeah, but what about Louisville getting a 7?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
Ridiculous.
I remember who was. I think it was Jay Billis had said that for this Louisville team, it was something like the committee was rewarding their heart and their hustle over rewarding anything else.
I know. I think they rewarded trying to get him to play Minnesota so he can go against Richard Pitino.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was.
I think it was a setup. The only way they could get Minnesota couldn't get them up into an 8-9. Minnesota's at 10 or 11 or whatever. They end up slotting them at 10.
And a lot of people, at least I know that I've talked to, and I know I've seen a lot of brackets where people are picking Minnesota in that matchup. Because if the committee really was like, well, we want to see what you can do against, Richard Pitino, they're almost setting up Louisville for failure because Minnesota's got some experience. Louisville's young. Louisville, I know they got Jordan Nwora, but they don't have that guy where they can put the ball in his hands and say, go get us a bucket.
Right.
And I'm not saying Minnesota does either, but at the end of the day, I like Minnesota in that matchup.
How does anything that Louisville did in the last month give them a 7 seed?
Yeah.
I mean, they were a surprise team in the through January.
Right.
From that point on, they were what everybody thought they'd be, and now they're a 7, and Syracuse is an 8.
And it was especially after that lead they blew to Duke. After that, they started to really get flustered over everything.
Yeah, they were never the same. And and this sets up Syracuse in an interesting if they can beat Baylor, which Baylor's not going to be, they're going to have to play to go against Gonzaga. But Syracuse has some pretty good history, so
yeah. So that's what I was going to say here. You got Syracuse then at the 8. That Baylor matchup is going to be interesting. I'm not high on really any team from the Big 12. As I call it this year, the Big 12 circle of suck.
I mean, every year you pick Kansas losing the first round without fail. So did you do it again this year?
I don't.
Because last year you had them losing the Penn.
Where are they, at 4?
Yeah, they're a 4-13 matchup. I did say this was going to be a year for a 13 over a 4.
Yeah, no, I have them.
I
have them losing to Northeastern.
There you go.
That's one of the brackets. I like a 14. I like Old Dominion over Purdue. Old Dominion's got size. They're like top 5 in the nation in rebounding. That was throwing it back to a year Louisville lost. They lost to Morehead State. Morehead State had Kenneth Fareed, top 5 rebound team in the country. You gotta make your first attempt because if you get your second, it's not going to be at the rim. It's going to get tipped out anyways. If Purdue can't rebound, they're going to be in for a whole world of trouble. Also, because you just got to get a couple upsets in there. So
I got to ask Paul though. Did you put the Cuse in the 16?
I do have him in the Sweet 16.
I thought you would. How do you feel about that?
Fairly confident. The big thing here, I think, and we can all agree on this, is Ty's battle in this one.
It's all Ty's battle.
He's got a very nice step back jumper. He can create his shot.
No news is good news, I think, at this point with him.
Yeah.
They went full mode today, first full day out in Utah, and seems as though they're good to go.
Yeah.
But Gonzaga, look, they're a good team. I'll give them that. It's a good team. But certainly a wacky year. Really, in general, out west, Pac-12 flopped hard. The West Coast Conference certainly flopped. St. Mary's wasn't as good.
Yeah.
The third best.
Who's in the West Coast Conference usually other than Gonzaga and St. Mary's, though?
Well, that shows you how bad that is this year.
Right.
San Francisco was the third best team, and most people out here only know them because of, say, Bill Russell went there back.
That's about it.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
So
That's a point.
So yeah, I like the matchup against Baylor. Cuse, I didn't know this until I saw this yesterday. They're the fourth best team in Power 5 conferences when it comes to points off turnovers.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Which obviously in the 2-3 help, especially in these one-game samples, certainly, something that you can really use in your favor.
Yeah. Well, and they always talk about the zone, but
yeah.
But this zone is very good. It didn't get the hype that it's gotten in past years because of the lack of success against, the better teams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you get out there with those matchups, and if Frank Howard continues to shoot the ball at all, they're going to be a tough. They may lose to Gonzaga, they may lose to Baylor, but they're not getting blown out.
No, it's not going to be easy.
No.
I have them losing to Marquette in the Sweet 16.
I was going to say there's two very interesting matchups in that bracket.
Yeah.
The first one being Syracuse-Gonzaga, if that matchup really happens, where either way the game goes, I'm not going to be surprised by the outcome. If Gonzaga wins, okay, they're supposed to win, but if Cuse wins, it's going to be one of those, okay, they played great defense. They did what they had to do.
That's not a 2-8 matchup,
right?
In the classic sense,
right?
Or excuse me, 1-8 matchup in the classic sense,
right? It's going to be one of those like Syracuse, tough ACC team, tough defense. They were able to do it, and then Marquette, Murray State. I think the winner of that has a legit chance of being an Elite 8 team. Marquette, Marcus Howard doesn't get enough recognition for what he does for that team. And then just Murray State, I feel like the just pretty much Ja Morant's entourage, I guess, his supporting cast. What a lot of people didn't realize is everyone thought, it's just Ja Morant carrying them. Murray State's got a decent team. Watch a couple of their conference tournament games, and I know their conference isn't as strong and everything, but when he had to go out for a couple minutes, that team held their own. Not I looked up a bunch of Gonzaga stat lines against UNC. Their 5 starters combined for 85 of their 90 points. Against Duke, I'm pretty sure it was the same thing. Their starters did all the scoring. Mm-hmm. So Gonzaga doesn't have a bench where that could come in to hurt them if they got to play Q2. Even Baylor, because Baylor runs a 2-3 as well.
Right.
And Murray State looks like they could hold their own, and I'm kind of upset Murray State's got Marquette as their first-round matchup because I feel like if they pulled any other 5 seed, they could pull a pretty easy upset.
Yeah, and this is all going back to we're talking about Syracuse matchup. They could lose to Baylor and not be. Yeah. None of us in this room would be surprised.
Right, no. That's another one where I feel like if they lose to Baylor, it's gonna be a game in the 40s or 50s where it's just the 2-3. Yeah, the 2-3s just going back and forth. Yep. It's gonna be one of those old school defensive games, which I think it's gonna be fun to watch. If you get 2 teams that are playing tough defensively, that's fun to watch. Not where it's one team runs away 80-40.
Yeah. One of those teams is going to shoot well, if not both.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's not much chance, I think, of both of them shooting poorly.
Mm-hmm.
You get this time of the year, one of those teams is going to shoot. Or even if they won't shoot it lights out to begin, one of them's going to get hot.
Right.
At some point in the game where they'll knock down 3 or 4 in a row and stretch that out, and then the defense will lock down.
Right.
What team that is, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. That'll be a fun matchup.
That's all I know. Should be a good game.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think another team that we need to look at, too, just quickly, another semi-local team, depending on how you really want to look at it, but Buffalo, man.
30 wins themselves, right?
Yeah, that team.
They're a team I'm still on.
6th seed. They're going to be poised with an interesting first-round matchup, the winner of Arizona State, St. John's. That could go against them. St. John's, one of those, and Arizona State, to be fair, 2 teams that a lot of people question how they got in, looking at their resumes. I know, Pat, a few weeks ago, we were watching Arizona State play Oregon, and they looked phenomenal that game.
Yeah. And also a couple weeks ago, Oregon they had a couple injuries. I know it wasn't Bobo, but whoever was injured for Oregon is now back. That's led to Oregon catching fire. I actually have them winning their first-round game. I think I have them actually playing UC Irvine, and I have Oregon going to the Sweet 16 just based on matchups.
That's another game.
I know the Pac-12's weak, but they're hot. when you get hot in March, it's hard to stop you.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I like Oregon. Buffalo, I'm still kind of out on because at the end of the day, they're a SUNY school. They're not. Well, the thing is, they're not.
Wait a second.
They're not pulling. They're a SUNY school. They're not pulling these recruits at Duke, UNC, Kentucky, Kansas. They ain't pulling those
They're
guys.
in the MAC. They're in the MAC shit, baby.
I know, but they're still SUNY Buffalo.
But you got to look past that. It means nothing. It means nothing. In Florida State, it's SUNY Florida.
Yeah.
You get.
Point.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I think
that's the same thing you can make with your team, UNC. UNC is part
Chapel
of the
Hill
network.
I just think that Buffalo is finally getting some of those athletes that the way college basketball and Division I basketball is now. There's so many players, and everybody's getting their share. And if you can get a couple of them, if you just get one, all right. But you get a couple of them, you can make noise against anybody.
I just want to see how battle tested they're going to be coming in because
That's a great point.
I know because their only real game was Marquette, and they were in it up until halftime. But second half, I think it was Marcus Howard came out on fire. They just had no answer for it. So do they have an answer if they come out? And let's say someone from Arizona State or St. John's catches fire, or they go on to the second round, and who would be their second round matchup? Grant, let's say the 3 seed wins. Is it LSU?
3 seed would be Texas Tech.
Texas Tech,
who's a very good team.
Yeah, they got Jarrett Culver.
He 12 circle suck.
Yeah, I know. Jarrett Culver catches fire. Does Buffalo have a way to either stop it, or do they have an answer for it where they can get a guy going? That's what I want to see. So can they get going? Is my thing with Buffalo.
Yeah, well, let's not forget they gave Syracuse a pretty bad loss at home.
They did.
That team. This team's not. There's some. I believe they're senior.
They're loaded. They're
upperclassmen, anyways, right?
Loaded, yeah.
And
I had to think of the word.
Yeah, but they, and they went into the Curry Dome early in the season when Syracuse was
floundering.
But wait a minute, were they still in the top 25 when they played? It might have been.
Were they?
I'm not sure.
were. I think they were, and they came in and just put it to them, and that game really wasn't close. So I think I'd love to see Buffalo get a couple of wins just to
that'd be nice.
I mean, I got them in a couple
huge.
wins. I got them in the Sweet 16.
Well, now that'd be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for that school.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if
in our area, as much as where Syracuse plays,
Buffalo might burn to the ground.
It'll go nuts.
That
Bills Mafia will jump on Bulls Mafia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would that be bigger than the Bills winning a playoff game or just making the playoffs in general?
Yeah,
that'd be big for them.
So, any other really big potential upsets you guys see? I got a couple written down on my bracket to maybe toss around.
I was gonna say, let's see if you throw out one that I'm thinking.
Well, you brought it up. I have UC Irvine beating Kansas State.
Okay. The big thing with Kansas State's Dean Wade's injury.
Yeah, he's out. Big loss for them.
Yeah.
Big 12 circle suck.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they have Dean Wade, I say they handle UC Irvine. It's the fact that your number one guy is out. That's going to hurt.
No doubt. This time of year, you lean on that guy when chips come down in a certain game. You really try to.
And especially for a team last year that made a deep run because of Dean Wade. Yeah. And now you don't have him. It's going to be tough to see.
I got another upset that I don't think people really realize only because of the team that is seeded at 14 in this matchup, LSU.
Yep, that was mine.
Yale.
That was mine.
Yale has a very good offense.
And plus there's extenuating circumstances on the LSU side.
Yes. Doesn't have their coach.
And everything crazy going on with it. Is that team going to come ready to play?
Also, we had watched LSU play Florida. LSU's point guard might be basketball IQ-wise, one of the dumbest guys on that floor that game. Did you watch that game? Did you see
I did not.
So about 20 seconds left in a tie ball game, LSU decides to roll it in, and he lets it roll past half court, and Florida State's point guard dove on the ball. Had LSU not had the possession arrow, he would have turned it over and given them the ball back on that, just right there. He also took, I believe it was a turnaround fadeaway jump shot with about 10 seconds left on the shot clock, and it was contested. This dude, in both situations, the game was tied. Just basketball IQ went out the window when he was flustered. If Yale can find a way to pressure him, I can see it happening again. Naz Reid for LSU, he can play. He can shoot. He can play you in the post. He's a big guy. But he just came back, too, from an injury, I believe. And it was from his lip being cut open. It got cut open again against Florida. If it happens to Yale and he's got to miss a few minutes, LSU could tank. I really like Yale. That was the one I was going to see if you had said.
And everybody's always afraid of that Ivy school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They play you tough. The Ivy schools play tough.
They play tough defense. They take advantage of weak spots on the floor. The backdoor cut is they all do that like crazy, and they're perfect at it. Their timings.
They play very good fundamental basketball.
Yeah.
And if they can catch, like I said, they catch a Nasrid slipping, they catch that point guard slipping, especially since even the assistant coach who has to step in the head coaching role got a technical for arguing, turned an and 1-3 into a 6 or 7 point play.
Yeah.
That's one where you got to understand you can argue to the certain point, but then you got to bring it back.
Bench experience.
Right.
It is what it is. Paulie, who you got for this year's Loyola? Who's the team that the Cinderella that runs it? And
let's see.
Is there one? I don't see one this year that sticks out.
I mean, I guess
although Loyola didn't really stick out last year.
Maybe not that sticks out. It has more to do with, in my opinion, if they can beat Duke, but VCU. I mean, but they're an 8 seed. They're not buried like Loyola.
I was going to say, if we're going double-digit,
and if we look back on history, we are exposed to VCU being that type of program when Shaka Smart was there.
Right.
So
you don't look at them anymore. It's just like Butler, right? They've earned their stripes.
They're a tough program that will play.
Even if they're if they're an 8 seed, you know they're coming at you. They're 12 seed. You're going to get the same kind of team. The seed means nothing.
Right.
They built a program there.
Man, I got that east side though. That east region, that's my upset laden
special
territory. Liberty, I can see Liberty easily being Mississippi State.
Yeah.
That team is a tough team.
They're on fire. Haven't they won like 21 or 22 in a row, something like that?
They're also the Flames, so.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hot team called the Flames.
Yeah.
Look out, they're coming.
No, I can see, and I think Michigan State will win this, but that Bradley team's going to play them tough.
Yeah.
Out of the Missouri Valley, they're another hot team too. They won something like 10 straight or something going in through the top conference tournament for them. So they're going to be tough.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about basketball, different than NCAA basketball than NCAA football? The underdogs don't ever think they're underdogs.
Right.
No.
Bradley will look at that game and say, we win that game.
Yeah.
They may not.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, even the 16s going there like,
we got
except for who's the one coach who doesn't want to play Duke. Who's it? He went on and said,
"Is it one of the playing teams?"
Yeah, they don't want any part of Duke. He said,
it's got to be.
I forgot who it was.
It's North Carolina Central's one team. I don't know.
It was NC Central's coach.
Yeah,
was their coach.
He's the only one I've ever heard him say that. We're like, I don't want any part of that. But most of those teams in NCAA basketball, all 60 plus teams, all think they can beat anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. They really do.
On any given night, you just need to play 6 games better than your opponent in a row. That's all you got to do. I know it's easier said than done.
First one to 6 wins,
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the tournament. Whereas we can talk about football. A tournament's not going to work that way in football, but it works that way in basketball.
Yeah. So let's get down prediction time then, I guess. Final Four, national championship game, champions themselves. I'll go first. I got VCU facing Michigan. And I got Michigan winning that game. Then I have Tennessee playing UNC. I have UNC winning that game. Then I have UNC being the champions.
UNC?
Yeah, that UNC team. They're the total package.
A little biased.
I've said it pretty much all year that this team.
They just had to find their identity.
Y'all look at it. They're deep in terms of they got the upperclassmen, but they also got the perfect amount of youth on that team. And the way they play, I just love the way they play. Roy Williams is doing another fantastic job, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
I can't root for UNC ever. So it doesn't matter. Although my future son-in-law and his father are huge UNC fans, so I kind of root for him a little bit. But I'm Virginia. I think Virginia. I think it's his shot. I think it's his best team.
It's their chance.
I don't know if anybody shoots it like them. When they get hot, it's scary. And the defense, no matter what the game is, their defense is going to do its job.
Right.
So if they can shoot it at all, I don't know how anybody really gets. Nobody's going to get a big lead and force them to do, a big comeback. I think Virginia, Michigan State. Is that how that works? Yeah.
Yeah. Michigan State will be playing Duke.
I like those two.
I got UNC Virginia in the Final Four. The Virginia pick was tough for me because I see them knocking down a ton of threes against Tennessee. I just see Tennessee grinding it out, keeping it close.
And I like
but it's going to be one of those where Virginia kind of has it in hand most of the game, but Tennessee's going to have a couple like little 5-6-0 runs, try to keep it close. They're going to grind it out. I think UNC is going to edge Virginia. I hate to say it. Duke's going to beat Michigan. I just hate to say Duke and Michigan because I don't think either team is that good. Duke they put everything on Zion. So when you look at it, as a whole team, I really don't think they're that good. It's going to be Zion. How far can he take them? And then I'm going to be that guy. UNC and Duke. UNC and Duke round 4. UNC is going to win the game 88-0.
Don't you think CBS would die for that one?
Oh, everyone would.
Is it on CBS this year? Because I know they've been doing like that weird flip-flop.
I think so. Well, if UNC and Duke is...
Like it was
if they're in the Final Four, I think they're going to try to find a way, if it's not on CBS already, to try to change it real quick.
Like it was on TBS last year.
No,
I'm not sure.
I think it is. I don't know. I don't remember. But either way, CBS will have rights to it. They're going to make money on it anyways. Yeah. But that's why would they scream for that?
Yeah.
For that game.
The biggest surprise I saw was Jay Billis picking UNC to beat Duke in the finals. He rode Duke out all year, said how much better they were than everyone. And now he's folding picking UNC, which I love it. I love the UNC pick, but I'm very surprised the Duke alum, with everything on the line, did not pick Duke.
Yeah, they say he should be out of the club.
Oh yeah, he just shoo him away real quick.
Yeah,
I think a lot of
he's
people
no
are saying,
Leitner.
I know a lot of people are saying he doesn't like Leitner in the slightest.
Me and Leitner had that deal on Twitter a few years ago, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot you got into it with him.
I love Leitner.
He got into me. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you did nothing wrong. You didn't.
I did nothing.
You didn't pick a fight.
I posed a simple question.
It was how many people hate Christian Leitner, probably.
No, it was does Christian Leitner hate Christian Leitner because I was watching 30 for 30. I hate Christian Leitner.
Okay.
The best, it's in the top 2 or 3, but 30 for 30.
It was a very
It's
good
up there.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
So with that in mind,
But before we move on real quick,
Oh.
this just in from Nick. He has Colgate over Tennessee.
what?
Hey.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Nick would just want to go through just to make a statement. It's a bold statement.
It is very bold. I don't know. He just texted me Colgate over Tennessee. He might actually have some stats to back it up. He just hasn't sent them to me. So if he has stats and you're watching this, Nick, send them our way. We'll get them in towards the end of the show.
I had the next topic teed up. That's why I was like so caught off guard by that.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to get that to you before we're talking Trout. I'm like, yo, by the way.
Oh, well, it's not Trout. That's
I know.
next,
That's what I'm saying. We're going to the NHL playoffs.
We are going to the
next.
NHL playoffs next to push for the Stanley Cup. It's on. We're within the final, 3 weeks.
This is Paul's wheelhouse right here.
It is.
I wouldn't say
He
it's
loves hockey.
wheelhouse.
I love hockey too, but I only love hockey really this time of year.
Oh, yeah. Paul sit down and watch the Lightning preseason games.
My Lightning, man. We have clinched the 1 seed. We're the only team technically in the East clinched in the playoffs yet.
Wow. There's a fun fact.
Boston should do that though within the next
2 weeks. It might take a couple
I'd say
weeks.
week to be fair, because
depends if they keep playing the way they're playing.
the wild card's going up flopping back and forth here, I think. Yeah. But so in my mind, I feel like it's the Eastern Conference kind of lose at this point,
Without question.
And I said it. You're a Bruins fan.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down to either Lightning or the Bruins.
Yeah, that should be the finals.
Yeah.
In the East, but you never know.
No.
I mean, you got to stay healthy. But I said to you today, there's always a team in the West that makes a run that scares you. Always. I mean, you got Nashville in the past, Vegas last year, and was it Nashville 2 years ago, right? Nashville 2 years ago.
They
Vegas last year.
Done it before too.
In 2012 or something.
I mean, there hasn't been a team coming out of the West that you really thought was the best team in hockey since the Blackhawks a couple, 3-4 years ago. But you know what? The Sharks always make a run too. They're always up to something, And so you sit there and watch it. And you say it should be Bruins or Lightning, but I said to Paul today, Pittsburgh on the run they're on with Sidney Crosby, which he's right now the best player in hockey right now. It drives you crazy. And Paul and I have a complete dislike for the Penguins.
Oh,
everything Penguin, right?
Did he tell you the Penguins are my favorite team?
Yes, he did.
Did he tell you why though?
Yes, because you like Penguins.
Penguins are my favorite animal. I really don't watch that much hockey. I know we've talked hockey.
Good.
Yeah, I know we've talked hockey on here before, and everyone that watches knows I'm not a huge hockey guy. All I know is from looking at Streak for the Cash, all I can tell you is the East teams have the best records.
Yeah.
So if that says anything,
they always do.
The East is going to do something.
They almost always do. Not always, but I just, I would love to see Washington. I was telling Paul today, I'd love to see Washington Pittsburgh finish 2-3 in the Metro, so that
will they have to play each other?
Yes,
Ooh.
And one of those two, the two best players that can carry, well, not always, but like last year's best player, Ovechkin, and one of them will be gone. And from Paul and I's perspective, we'd like to see one of those two gone.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like that'd be a pretty fun series to watch.
Oh, it would be.
At the moment, they are 2-3 in the Metro. But despite the Capitals being tied with the Islanders for first, the Islanders have the tiebreaker.
Boston playing the Islanders tonight, I think.
Yeah, because of goal differential. So.
Yeah, I don't know what the score is. Did you see the score on that, Paul?
No, this is a printed out sheet. I did some cheat work today. So. Yeah,
Bruins beat them 5-0. So Islanders lost a shot for some points there.
Yeah.
So
that's big.
Yeah. So you're looking at Pittsburgh. I still think Pittsburgh wins that division. By the time it's said and done, they're gonna go number one, and then you'll have Washington and Islanders probably.
Yeah, that division's pretty tight right now. I mean, the Islanders, Capitals are at 91, Pittsburgh's at 88.
How many are the Islanders up? Or Islanders. How many are the Maple Leafs up? How many points difference between the next wild card?
So Maple Leafs are at 91. They got 6 points back to the Hurricanes.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
With this, there's 2 weeks to go? Give or take
2
3.
and a half, give or take.
Yeah.
2.5, 3, depending upon which team you're looking at.
Right. You got to watch out for Carolina, who's got a bunch of home games, home ice to close the season.
Bunch of punks.
The Whalers.
Yeah. You don't want them back, though.
No.
Pat, just to give you a brief hockey history, Pat, the Whalers and the Bruins, not the best of friends.
The New England,
the
Hartford,
right?
The Bruins weren't keen when Hartford got in via the WHL about how they're in our TV rights and.
Okay, makes sense. I wouldn't like that either.
All that fun stuff.
Another team infringing on your ground. I wouldn't like that.
And there was a big stink a couple weeks ago when Hartford came in and wore the greens.
Yeah.
And the Bruins wore the whites at home. And it was a little funky there, and it just looked funky,
Oh, I thought you were talking about Don Cherry again.
Yeah. But yeah,
Don Cherry's literally a cartoon character. Like, it's the only way I can describe
You got to see how he's a Herb Tarlick I don't know if you know who Herb Tarlick is, but
you want to what? You'll understand this, Pat, because you'll watch me. Daryl Waltrip.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Pretty much.
We're the NASCAR guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's the only.
Are you a
comparison.
NASCAR guy?
No, I hate it.
There's only I don't think there's anybody in baseball I can compare him to really with, at least right now.
Paul will say he's going to watch a race on Sunday. I said you and 3 other people in the country.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I usually work Sundays, so
yeah.
I'm always working somewhere.
But so it's going to be an interesting deal. And then out west, you brought up teams out west that tend to make a run. I'm still looking at now. They're leading the Central, so it's hard to really say that. They're kind of laying in the weeds a little bit. But you look at it from like a traditional seed aspect of it. They're the 3 seed in that respect, But really they aren't the way they do the seeds. Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I've been high on this Winnipeg team now for
a couple of years.
And
so much speed and so much.
They're kind of losing though their window because they're in the bottom 10 of payroll and available money to spend in the league. And they got some great players. They got Patrick Laine, in my opinion, hugely underrated when he's healthy, especially. Their defense overall is really great. I'm gonna butcher his name, Dustin. But I always butcher his name.
Yeah, you can see it, but you can't say it.
But Fledgley, whatever. Tyler Myers is great too. Obviously, Hellebuck's a tremendous goalie. feel like I say with a lot of them, but he really is a top 5 goalie in the NHL.
Who's the 1 seed right now in the West?
The 1 seed right now in the West, the only team actually clinched out West is Calgary.
Oh, it's not Calgary. Okay. Yep.
They got 95 points. Really, to be fair, San Jose is really a game away from clinching. They're at 94. So,
where are the Blackhawks sitting at?
Blackhawks, they're sitting.
But they're playing so much better right now.
Yeah, they're at 72 points. They trail the Coyotes by 6 for the final wild card slot.
I'd watch them. You know, I think, and Kane's been great, and Taze has had a bounce back year. So is Brandon Saad. Is that how you say it? Saad he's another one with another nice year. I think you got to watch out for the Blackhawks. And boy, when they get in, if they get in, they've got all that experience.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe the Rocket Tocket will keep the Coyotes in it.
Yeah, that Coyotes team, you know, I said to you today, this was a team we thought was in relative tank mode, especially post-trade deadline, and they're still hanging on. That, you know, Minnesota and Colorado have gone by the wayside a little bit here, surprisingly, especially this year. Really weird. Teams out of contention already eliminated officially. The Kings, how the mighty have fallen.
How quick, huh?
Yeah. They're the only team out west. 3 teams out east. Devils, Senators, and the good old boy network, Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah. And that's another one. Where are they? I mean, that city's got to be going crazy.
Well, I saw
Hockey town. You know?
I think it was Jeremy who said to us today or the other day, Eiserman's coming back. I'm like, yeah, I could have told you that when he resigned from the Lightning.
Right.
Like, I saw it from 3 miles away.
Right. Well, they've got to go that route.
Wait, like he's coming back to play?
No.
Okay, I was
He'd
going
be
to
the
say.
GM.
GM and probably president would be.
Because say exactly like NHL 2006, and he's like 35 in that.
Well, Gordie Howe did it.
Man.
Gordie Howe played until he was what, 60 something?
Oh jeez.
But
Gordie Howe had like 49 points in his age 51 season.
Yeah.
Like something stupid. Like,
and he had an assist in a All-Star game.
Yeah.
Back in was it 90 something, wasn't it? Yeah.
He assisted his son's goal.
Yeah.
I think it was. So.
But yeah, I don't think Detroit can take it that long. I mean, they do think they're hockey town.
They need something, and they said how high the price would be for players, and they sold out Nyquist for peanuts.
Think about how long has it been since they raised the cup? God, it's been a while now.
What was it, like 08 or something?
Yeah,
7, 08, somewhere
it's been
in there.
10, yeah. Hey, that's not going to – that's like the Yankees not putting one up in a while.
It's been 10 years there, too.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody's got to pay for that.
Girardi did.
And Boone might.
So.
We'll see.
There's your segue, Paul.
Excellent job, Pat. Well, not quite the true segue, but good job that segment, Pat. Job well done.
I know nothing about hockey. I'll be strapping on a style.
We might think you don't know anything about anything else either.
But
I know a little bit. Not much.
Speaking of money, Mike Trout got that massive extension.
Good.
12 years, $430 million. And
he deserves a lot.
as I typed it in earlier, what does this mean for future free agents? Alex Bregman, breaking news here, signed a 6-year, $100 million extension to Houston.
When did that happen?
About a half hour ago now.
Oh boy, Hank will be loving that.
Oh yeah.
My best friend is
and the Brewers are and the Brewers and Craig Kimbrell are in deep discussions right now too. So
and how long before Judge gets his?
Yeah. So
Probably
this opens up a
huge
I think before that
bevy of discussion here because you look at it now and you go from really, to be fair, Giancarlo to Bryce, and then the short swing, Mike Trout.
Well, you better be Trout.
You got to think Judge is probably next. So
Judge has got to be next.
This is going to be insane. What does this mean for future free agents? We're probably looking at a $500 million.
But Judge isn't going to get a 10-year.
No.
So I mean, the Yanks are done with that.
This is going to be absurdly high. Though.
Yes, it'll be 5 or 6 with an option someplace, and probably at 40.
Yeah,
40 a year.
I'm
That
guessing.
seemed pretty good ballpark
Yep.
range. I mean,
although the Yankees have been the young guys have been doing team friendly deals this offseason.
And Judge might do that, figuring there's more to spend later to bring in what you need. Right. I mean, he's going to put the pinstripes on probably for life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
he will. He's going to be, when it comes to obviously not production, I feel like he's going to end up producing more than this guy in the long run. He's going to be that Derek Jeter face for the Yankees where he's there for life.
Yep.
I saw a stat today that Mike Trout is making more money. I think it was just in this next year, or it's like 2 or 3 years down the road. He's going to make more money in the next couple of years than Jeter and Mariano made in their entire career combined.
Yeah. You can see that.
Yeah, so those are the guys that like Judge is going to follow after. Like he's obviously going to take more money at some point, but he's not going to take the $200, $300, $400 million
right. Well, the advantage of New York is he doesn't have to because of what he can make off the field.
Exactly.
And so there's a real opportunity for him to say, okay, let's be team friendly and let's take care of business on the side.
He's going to get all the endorsements of Jeter because Jeter had Gatorade. He was the first athlete sponsored by Jordan. You know someone's going to be coming knocking for Judge.
And he has to be considering the Yanks are going to have to pay Andujar,
right,
Glaber, and God knows who else, Sanchez.
Yeah,
right.
If he picks back up to what he did when he first came up.
Sanchez isn't going anywhere. Even if he's half of what he was 2 years ago, he's not going anywhere because of the tools he brings.
Right.
You can't match him.
Right.
So I'd be shocked if they let him go. Even if he has a year like last year, they're going to be patient with him.
Right.
He's just got too much pop.
Right.
So the Angels are in an interesting spot too now. But the Trout signing because they aren't they don't have a great farm system. They don't have a ton of money to spend elsewhere because they're locked into that Pujols black hole still. Mm-hmm. So you gotta wonder, like, are they gonna be able to bring in anyone else at this point really to help him out? Like, that's the vibe I got from when Trout signed us. I'm like, have fun being average.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't gotta. It definitely helps bringing guys in, but at the same time, baseball's the one sport where every single year you could get 10 different teams in the playoffs. It just depends on how healthy your guys are and how well everyone plays. Because at the end of the day, in football, Tom Brady's going to be staying in the AFC title game alongside like Roethlisberger or Mahomes. That's happening. Whereas in baseball, the Red Sox showed it about a 4-year span. They went from World Series champs to dead last, back to the ALCS, back to the worst team in baseball, without really making many moves. So baseball's a sport where parity's going to show, where you never know. Maybe the Angels, their 1-2 pitchers this year, get hot. Ohtani's throwing every now and then come late in the season. You need a guy to lock down a couple games to secure a spot. You can turn to Ohtani.
But baseball is also predicated on pitcher health.
Right.
More than any – I mean, you have to have pitchers healthy. Or your stud, your superstar has to be healthy.
Right.
Where would the Yankees have been last year if Judge played 150 games? What did he play? 100? How many games did he miss there in that stretch run?
I think he hit about between 100 and 110, I think is what
he ended up with. Missed. Yeah. So because they may not have had to grind so much to keep the wild card.
Right. And he still hit 27 home runs.
You know what I'm saying? So football doesn't, unless it's a quarterback. Football health doesn't necessarily change as much. So your point is right.
Right.
But you still got to stay healthy. In baseball, your arms have got to stay healthy because
losing Ohtani at such a young age too, Tommy John.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that. Obviously, they fix whatever. It doesn't mean it can't happen again. It doesn't mean that his arm is not going to slow down, though.
Well, who's the next best player on the Angels?
It's probably Trout than Ohtani.
Right. But after Ohtani.
Take them off.
For me, it's an no-brainer. It's Andrelton Simmons.
I like Simmons. He's solid.
But what's his star power?
Defense.
So, I mean, nationally, who knows him other than baseball people?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Braves fans.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So there's not. Yeah. They don't have a lot to put around Mike Trout to help him carry the load.
Yeah.
And you said it. Their minor league setup is terrible right now. Yeah, so what's coming? They almost have to make a full commitment to the minor leagues and say, you got Trout for 10 years. get better in 3 to 4 years.
You've got to start drafting good, actually taking the time to sit down and scouting all the guys you really want.
You know what? Get rid of some of your starters for some extra draft picks.
Right.
And start playing playing that game. It's difficult. Baseball's different.
Right. And I love the Trout deal for him. He
deserves
it. He more than deserves
Get your money. That's why I say
million.
with any players, get your money.
But he would have got it anywhere.
Yeah, he's got 5 years in the league, top 2 in MVP votes every year.
He finished 4th one year when he missed 50 games.
Yeah.
I thought that was 1 year that he came in second.
I know is he's finished second a couple times.
Yeah, and 2 times he's won it.
And he finished 4th 1 year and he was hurt.
Yeah, and I know last year he was hurt for about a month and a half and he finished with 39 home runs.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Like this guy, he's already in the discussions for one of the greatest players of all time.
His wins above replacement, I was telling Paul today, I heard it on the radio today.
I remember his
is
pretty
better
high.
than Mickey Mantle and Ty Cobb at his age.
It's really high.
Yeah. So
he's a bona fide stud.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of weeks ago we had talked about this on the pod.
You were right.
I said Trout's going to get $400 million. I didn't think it was going to be this soon. I thought it would be next offseason. I'm going to be honest.
Well, the Angels brass gotten worried with all the talk with
Harper trying
calling
to get
him,
especially knowing that he's from that area. Grew up a Philly sports fan.
They don't want something to go wrong.
He's a Philly sports fan.
Yeah, they don't want anything to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want an injury to go. Right. Either way, he's now. He only leaves if he agrees to a trade.
Right.
That's it. And he might do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, depending on the situation, they don't win in the next 5 years. You could see him as a 30-year-old say, "Okay, I got it." You go to them and say, "You got to move me."
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way. He said it'll be 4 or 5 years. It won't be in the next couple 3.
No.
They'll be patient.
He'll
be patient.
He's a stud. He's probably the best major league player I've ever seen play. I mean, I know I don't have as many years under other people. I know you probably would have seen better. I know in my lifetime, Trout's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know. He's with all the tools. I couldn't. I don't know if I could argue with you.
I figured for sure. I thought who you were going to say.
Well, Clemente,
yeah.
but Clemente he didn't have the same power.
Yeah,
he hit for power, but not like that. Clemente's probably a better arm, not a better outfielder. He was a very good outfielder, but Trout can go get everything and anything. Yeah. You know,
and he's shown it by robbing all those home runs.
You could argue that. You could also argue Mantle, which I didn't see play. You know, I mean, I did, but I was 5 and 6, so I don't really remember him. You know, but
and I'm sure there's a lot of people when it comes to just the hitting that could probably make a case for Bonds.
Yeah,
but Trout's on pace to break his home run record, and he's missed, I think, a total of like a year worth of baseball, and he's on pace to beat it. So, I mean, I don't know if Bonds had any serious injuries ever. I honestly don't remember.
He lost his hair.
He lost a few other things, apparently, from what I heard.
But, I mean, Trout, right now in baseball, he's the only guy that I think is deserving of $400 million. I'll wait to see if, I know you said Arenado you feel is the best player. I'll wait to see how he can step up with his money now, see what he can do. Because, not going to split hairs, but 2 or 3 years in a row now, MLB players have voted said Trout's the best player in the league. Yeah. So they did put Arenado 5th, though. I'm going to say of position players, he was 3rd. 2nd was Betts. Scherzer was 3rd. I can't remember which pitcher was 4th. But that's another guy. People are saying Betts is going to be the next guy, $500 million. He's only had a year and a half.
Boston's not going to have that money to give him.
I know, because they've thrown it all at JD, Chris Sale, David Price.
They are not going to have the money to give him that. They're going to pay a luxury tax. They're going to hit bottom here soon.
Oh yeah,
and
I mean, that's the other thing is there is no salary cap in baseball, but there's still
somebody's jersey.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and that's where Trout has sustained success for 5 years. He's shown that he's phenomenal. He's worth this. I need to see Mookie play at his level for another year or two before I can even say he's worth $300 million. Because I was even skeptical giving Harper $330.
Is there somewhere you see Betts leveling off? And I don't know why I say that, other than he's not Trout.
Oh yes, I agree with you.
You just see a level off with him. Mm-hmm. That's still very good.
Right. I mean, what he's given the Red Sox is more than enough, but he almost has like a Jackie Bradley Jr. feel coming to him where everyone was so high on him. even though Jackie Bradley Jr. only had about 3-4 month span where he was really regarded as being very good, and then he leveled off quick. I almost see that feel coming to Mookie, where it's going to be one of those, you hit your peak already, he can't keep it up.
No.
So he's going to start to fall.
Well, and he's going to have to be more productive considering that they're going to need bigger leads with that bullpen.
Right. Because their bullpen, and I'm not high on Craig Kimbrell, but bringing him in is better than having to bring in, like, I can't even think of a bad closer at this point.
There's nobody.
I know.
And they have to come. They haven't signed Kimbrel yet, have they?
No,
they're going to have to
still
go
on the
do
market.
it. They're going to have to bring him in.
Just talking with Milwaukee, apparently.
Yeah, the Red Sox are going to have to.
They're going to have to suck it up, because once he's gone, who's really left on the market?
And he's going to smirk all the way to the bank.
Yeah, it's going to be, you're going to have to pull up your AAA closer who probably has very little to no experience at all in the MLB and say, you're now on this high pressure team of we're coming off.
Or hope you hit
series. Let's go.
Or hope you find a surprise pot of gold,
right,
somewhere, which happens sometimes in a bullpen. That somebody all of a sudden shows like, whoa, we can do this,
But it's going to be. I do agree with you. Mookie's going to level off. I really don't think we're going to see another Trout contract, at least from baseball, in our lifetime. I think.
Well,
actually, every other sport has a cap, so
the 10 years is rare
anymore.
But we saw a couple teams give them out this year.
Yeah.
The Yanks aren't doing it anymore.
No.
Not as long as the people are in charge now. It's not happening.
Seamless transition.
Yeah. Yes.
Seamless transition to the Yanks.
Yeah. So, man, 2019 future's good for us. Us Yankee fans.
I love it.
Right now, kind of sketchy with a little bit of some injury bugs here, but man, I'm really excited for this season.
Yeah. It's why you build depth, though, Paul. Those injuries. It's why they have so much depth. They build depth,
especially in the outfield.
Oh, especially in the outfield, right?
That team.
Let's start there then. This outfield's fun.
Yeah,
right. And I mean,
man.
I understand that whole Ellsbury contract is bad, but you still got that extra outfielder sitting around.
If he can get healthy,
right?
Because he has a name. It's Clint Frazier.
Yeah, well,
you love Clint.
Well, Clint Frazier, because he had actually said, I remember I saw him. I can't remember if it was an interview or just an excerpt from it. He had said he wants to come out for a starting spot. And the only one I can really see him getting is if he can try to get one over Hicks, because they're not going to give it to over Stan or Judge.
The problem is the Yankee lineup screams for Hicks,
right?
Because they need a lefty. Just like I said to Paul with the first base, Voit is great, but if Bird is anywhere in the ballpark, Bird's getting more starts,
right?
Because of
you need that lefty.
You got to have that lefty in the lineup, and so. And if Bird can show any kind of consistency and stay healthy, that's what's going to happen. But it looks like I think Voit sticks. I don't think he's trade. I think he sticks around. I mean, even DH, we all love Voit.
He's
we don't make the playoffs last year without him.
No,
he's solid. He can really hit the ball.
Yeah. And Tulo's a great, nice stopgap till Didi comes back,
and just. Even when he's not going to be starting every day, once D comes back, just that veteran leadership on the bench. He's a guy you can trust to bring in a pinch hit. Like, hey, we need you. Move a guy over, sack fly. Like, go just help us out something.
Think about that when Didi comes back. You have Tulo and LeMahieu just sitting there. Yeah. They can play. I mean, Tulo can play second and third probably, I'm guessing.
Well, I was going to say, they've been experimenting with LeMahieu at third even.
Yeah. So. They say he could play all four. Plus, he can play some outfield if he had to.
Yeah. So, probably, I mean, This is a team where when you need to give guys rest, you can plug someone and just say...
We got maybe the best backup catcher in the league. He's in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, one more arm in July. And that means we're going to lose somebody. Who that will be, I don't know. Well, at least one.
I feel like that's maybe why they both got Ottavino and Britton, is one of them will get moved. I don't want to see either of them get moved, but it's going to be one of those trade bait pieces where you're like, wow, we got them both signed. You need a reliever. We need a starter. Which starter are you willing to give up for him? And that's what they're going to probably dangle.
I think Britton
goes.
Teams. I think Britton would be the one they want to move because I think.
And they're just going to sit there and just going to dangle one of them and say, well, which pitch you want to give us? And some team will be like, oh, we'll give you like our number 3, or like give us your number 2, and Britton's all yours.
Yeah.
Then some team's going to have to bite on it.
Yeah, they're going to need one more arm, I think. I just somehow, unless somebody really surprises, if Sessa somehow really pitches well, or Herman, one of those two really gets hot, maybe they don't need to do it. I don't know.
Plus, you hope you get Jordan Montgomery back here at some point.
Right. Yeah. What would you say? How long is he out?
Apparently, there was a bit of a snag. The doctors don't want him going back to throwing as quickly apparently now, but you're still targeting hopefully the summertime here at some point still. So
Sevy's back playing catch now, right?
I don't know.
I think today or next couple days.
I think actually he is.
I think he is.
Right.
I know apparently with obviously being down until the beginning of May, that kind of sucks. But
I'm assuming Tanaka's going to be the opening day
he
starter.
is. They already announced it. Yeah.
Tanaka's opening day.
I mean,
CC's only going to miss the first probably couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just want to see how well they can stay afloat until the beginning of May. Because I know it's just 1 month of baseball, but if they can be even just the top 2 in the AL East come the beginning of May, and then you're getting back 3 starters, 2 starters,
Yeah.
every other team needs to look out. Again, it's probably a little biased saying that, but this team is going to be something special.
They're going to score runs either way. Right. You just got to hope that they can score enough to be you don't want to lose the division in April.
Right.
That's all.
Right. And I mean, with the additions of Ottavino and Britton, now on any given night, you don't know if you're going to get a combination of Britton, Betances, Chapman,
Right.
or Ottavino, Britton, Betances. You don't know what 3 you can see. You don't know if you're even going to see 2, 1, what you're
Plus,
seeing.
who knows who gets hot? You got Keenly and Chad Green. So look at what a bullpen.
They did what they had to do this offseason.
Yeah.
They got their bullpen. They got it back stocked there.
And we're not even we haven't even mentioned Paxton's name.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean
that's a guy
I
that
love Paxton.
Yeah.
Such
big
a great
lefty.
pickup.
He's gonna cause problems for hitters. Oh
I just they did enough. They did enough. Now
they
stay healthy, score runs.
Yeah.
Hit the long ball again, which they will.
Mm-hmm.
One way or another, they're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Judge even said, he goes, this is a year that whatever record the Yankees broke last year or 2 years ago for the most home runs of the season, he goes, we're breaking it this year.
Yeah. They got pop in all nine spots plus the depth all have pop. Every one of them.
It's going to be fun to watch this team.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
It'll be great.
Even Gardy can do it, and he gets hot.
Yeah.
He'll when he gets pulling the ball like that.
He was huge last year too.
Well, yeah.
I'm telling you, the only team I'm scared of is Houston.
Yeah, we
They
talked
don't
about
have
that
the arm.
today.
They don't have the starting pitching, I don't think, or really the bullpen to a degree.
Keuchel hasn't signed, right?
But no, Keuchel, Houston doesn't plan on bringing him back either.
Keuchel's going to sign next week or at the first injury.
Yeah.
The first big injury somewhere.
Right.
And most people think he really needs to go to the National League.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he can handle the American League.
Hitters.
Yeah, those lineups are different.
They're tough.
Yeah. And so.
Then I know because the Yankees, one of their clauses for Gio Gonzalez on his minor league deal was if he's not up by April 20th, he can opt to be released.
I saw that, yeah.
So I really have a feeling that they're going to just get him a couple starts in AAA to get him loose and get him right back up to the big leagues. Because especially with now you lost Severino, you need another veteran arm just to keep you kind of floating.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the long-term deal is with Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they want to line him up? And I'm surprised. Maybe he didn't have a lot of opportunity elsewhere, but I'm surprised he settled for the deal he did. It's kind of. It's a no lose in a way.
I think he played the waiting game too long.
Yeah, maybe
because he had a lot of interest from Milwaukee. I know it was big on him there for a second. So.
Yeah, and so did Keuchel. Keuchel did the same thing. He turned down. Houston gave him a qualifying, and he turned it down.
Well, there was something I saw that I don't know if it was just like a fake report or what it was, but it was something that said the Reds had signed Keuchel for 6 years, $140 million.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just something that fell through. I don't know what it was, but 6 years, $140 million for Keuchel, that's a lot of money. He's never going to see that again.
No, and that in 6 years, even if he pitches 2 years, he's going to get $140 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Something was not right there. I just think Keuchel gets picked up as soon as somebody gets hurt. Mm-hmm. You might get somebody that gets really aggressive with him next week.
Yeah.
Saying, you know what, one more arm, Keuchel, for the right price. Now it's a buyer's market for him.
Right.
So he's going to get stuck. He lost a lot of money. I mean, he might get himself a 1 year, 10, 12 million if he's lucky.
Yeah.
He might get a 1 year, $5 million.
That
pitch and earn
ballpark,
it. Come earn it. They say he's found the fastball a little bit back. They think, but
only one way to find out.
Yeah,
put him on the
get
mound.
out there and actually pitch.
Put him on the mound.
Take some deal and get out there.
Yeah. So
well, I think Yanks are winning the division.
yeah.
And I think they'll have home field. I think the World Series will run through New York.
I would love to see.
I like that plan.
Yeah,
I like that plan.
there's no reason for it not to happen, other than injuries.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy, it's going to happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love this Yankees talk.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're not going to be able to get it next week, Pat.
No.
We got to talk a little Pirates next week, dude.
Well, no,
Pirates
we're doing
Mariners.
our big baseball preview next week.
Yeah.
We got Pirates and Mariners. Matt's a Mariners fan.
Oh, that's right.
So.
Yeah, that's right.
Matt, the West Coast sports expert. They're watching live right now in Vegas, which is where Nick's at.
Yep.
He's already put in a couple bets.
Mm-hmm.
Not looking good for your Temple Owls right now, Nick, unfortunately. Sorry to tell you that.
Ooh, I liked Belmont. I liked Belmont. Let's go, baby.
So,
What's the score, Paul?
we're up 10 with 3 minutes left.
That one's done.
So with that in mind, we'll get out here. Jim, big thank you to you for coming in.
Glad to be here. I had fun.
We will get you back on.
I'm in.
Very good guest co-host. Very good.
Count me in.
Yeah, all right. I love it.
And tomorrow I get to tell you what to do again.
Yeah, that's true.
Tomorrow or once the.
Or actually, once we turn it off.
Yeah, once the cameras turn it off.
Yeah, pretty much. So thanks again, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of fun.
Love being here. Pat, was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I love it.
Pat, we'll go to you. You have a signature trade.
All right,
so
so we got our fun fact. I got to pull the phone out to remember the last team. So there's only one time every single one seed made to the Final Four.
One time.
One time. It was 2008. The one seeds were Kansas, UNC, UCLA, and Memphis. That was the year that Chalmers and Rose went at it, and Chalmers hit that 3-4 overtime.
That's Calipari, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the only time it's ever happened. I had said this year could be the second time it happens.
You could see it.
You could see it. It's very possible. I feel like it's more possible than years past. The one team I just don't really see if it happens is gonna be a Gonzaga early exit or Duke falling to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Even UNC to Kentucky. If it's not all the 1 seeds, I think the 2 seeds are going to be there. So either way, I think you're going to get 4 1s, 4 2s, or some combination of 3 and 1. So yeah, there's your fun fact.
Thanks, Pat.
That's good fun fact, Pat.
So that in mind, thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you guys here eventually. I jumped the gun a little bit. There we go. And yeah, like I said, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. We'll catch you guys next week.